Game number 1 here. This is going to set the pace for the rest of the series. And so how each player wants to open in game number 1 is quite important. Is this going to be a cheese-filled series with lots of all-ins? Or are we going to get a hyper greed build here out of either player? Gonna throw down barracks at the ramp. Probably not going to open gasless fast expand. Most players who gasless fast expand on this map tend to throw the barracks up on that high ground, and there's the gas. And so Scan's gonna get a vulture out here as soon as possible. We'll be able to throw down his factory. Really soon here. Whereas Motive is going into his own cybernetics core, his own gas. Hasn't sent out a probe yet. May just scout with the Dragoon initially. We'll end up giving him a little bit of a macro edge. Not scouting with the probe, whereas Scan is scouting with his SCV. But he won't know what's really going on with Scan until that gets across the map. We've got Scan sending this scout now over to the center right. He's actually going to send out a zealot first. So the zealot coming across for the scout, and it's actually going in the right direction. This is pretty good for Motive. I didn't see this SCV coming in, and he actually might change direction when he sees the SCV. Might get a little bit fooled here. Does he send the zealot up north? No, he's going to send it over here. Might as well go and check, make sure. We're already almost into this natural. He will find the Marines here on the low ground. 4 Marines is an easy hold. 4 Marines will definitely beat that 1 Zealot. But Scan wants to pull back for the moment. Doesn't want to take any damage on this. These early units. Nexus gets thrown down by Motive here after the Dragoon. Or is this a second Zealot? If this is a second Zealot, okay. It is a Dragoon coming up. 5 Marines and a Vulture. Should easily be able to push this back. Vulture is deceptively strong in a situation like this. Just shaving off the shields of either unit, you can deal all 20 damage to shields. Whereas the hull of the Dragoon and the Zealot will take... Well, the Zealot still takes 20 damage, but the Dragoon takes less, as it is not a small unit. Concussive damage doesn't work very well against the hull of the Dragoon, but now with 2 Dragoons here, Scan just going to stay up on high ground. He's got enough Marines to hold this back. Will he splurge on the bunker, though? It seems like he's trying to cut that. If he can cut the bunker here, that is a nice little advantage. Wait, is he going to take a 3rd CC? This is crazy, guys. A 3rd CC from Scan? Absolutely wild. Motive didn't go Nexus first. He didn't go for a super greedy build, but Scan getting this 3rd CC down is craziness. He's going to throw down mines everywhere and rely on Motive not being able to scout him for the time being. If Motive doesn't find out about this and move out to stop it in time, then Scan will have a massive advantage. But if Motive gets out here and sees this, it's an easy route to victory. Just kill that CC, go stop that base, and there's no way Scan's going to have the bulk of army necessary to stop him. I think that Scan is likely going to get away with this play, though. It's triple gateway after expansion. You're from Motive. And how far along is he with this observer? It's on the way now. And so he will be able to push out here soon. Here comes the probe for the expansion. Definitely could kill that. Scan just out of range to see that, I think. He's got a couple of vultures on patrol command. Waiting for a probe heading in this direction, but Motive is going to send his observer out first. Oh, he does get it. Nice snipe there. Going to slow down that Nexus by a little bit. Scan already mining here. He's going to have to start adding on factories like crazy. He's only on 2 for the time being. He went to 3 factory with 1. Or he went to 3 base with 1 factory. Oof. Bit of damage there. Motive's not going to be too happy about that. But this observer is moving directly up to the front. It's not scouted out that 3rd base just yet. And now it's going to fly into the main. Is Motive going to be suspicious now? He might think that there's something out on the map. Maybe a starport somewhere out on the map. Something is off. Only 2 factories at 7 minutes. He should certainly have some money, which must have gone elsewhere. 2 more factories on the way. He's going to get up to 4 factory now. The gap is closing. The hole is closing here for Motive. Can he figure out exactly what's happened in this game and punish this 3rd base, or is Scan going to buy enough time to where he can get all these factories online and properly defend the 3rd? He is getting some good defenses over here already, setting up supply depots on high ground. And look at how far ahead his SCV count is. This is a massive advantage going in Scan's favor. He just doesn't have the production as of yet. He is a little bit breakable. You can see he can barely really hold his natural. He's only got 3 tanks down here in the low ground. Oh my goodness. 3 tanks is just not going to be enough. Wait a second. Motive just going to bust right through this. A mine goes off, kills all the Marines. SCVs are going to be pulled out here to try and save the tank. That last tank needs to be completely surrounded, but it's not surrounded quickly enough, and Scan loses 3 tanks. He's still okay. As long as he lives through this, he's got that 3rd base up on high ground. Motive still does not know about that. Would have been nice had he a little bit better prepared, been a little better prepared. Oh gosh, he doesn't even catch the probe heading up to top right either with those 2 vultures. They really should have caught that probe. But a few SCVs are starting to go down. The tanks siege up in the natural, and he pushes everything back. Motive still doesn't know about this 3rd base. He has no idea that this has been mining like crazy, sucking up money over in that center left. Motive gets his probe over to center right. There was an opportunity there for Scan to delete that probe and slow down this base even more, but kind of whiffed it, kind of missed it. It's okay, though. As long as he is alive, look at how close he is in supply. And he's got so many more workers after losing a bunch there to the Dragoons, pushing into the front. This is Scan's game to lose. He should be able to close it out from a position like this. He's had that 3rd base for so long. Yes, he lost 3 tanks, but his production should really start to kick in now. We're past the 10-minute mark. This is around the time when a 3rd base would usually be getting taken, guys, just for reference. Between the 10 and 11-minute mark. If you're past 11 minutes, it's starting to be pretty slow. But we're here at 10-minute 15. Scan's had that base up for an eternity. He has been mining off of that for so long. He's got so much money coming in with 72 workers. He's just now getting his scanners online. That was a big hole in his defense, is not having really much detection to speak of. But thankfully, Motive didn't take advantage of that. He's got Reavers out now. He's got quite a bit of gateway army to work with. But Scan, as long as he's adding on all of his factories, as long as he's going up to 8 to 10 factories right now, he should have the muscle, the bulk, to just blast through whatever Motive is able to make. These 2 shuttles coming into the main base. This could actually throw a massive wrench into all the plans for Scan. Does have that floating building so that the shuttle takes maximum damage here flying into the main. It does die, and the second shuttle almost goes down as well. It is going to be available, though, to help juggle these Reavers during this next part of the fight. Tanks coming back into the main. You see some vultures come back here as well. There's a big connection on that with that Scarab onto the tank. Some of these zealots are getting taken out, but at the same time, quite a bit of damage here. A lot of buildings going down. Turrets, and now supply depots are going to start to fall. More juggling here with the Reavers, but Motive loses track of that for a moment, and a lot of damage goes down on that Reaver. It just barely survives, but with hardly any HP. Scan is going to be able to remake those supply depots quickly, but can Motive do something with the hiccup in production here of Scan? That's a lot of gateway units moving forward, and I certainly didn't see many forces there at the front waiting to defend this. He's starting to throw down buildings on this high ground as well. Needs to bring the tanks forward, though, in order to block this upcoming attack. He's going to need all of his army. Everything that Scan can pull together. He's got 1,200 minerals in the bank. He really needs to add on more factories and get this production rolling again. He's supply blocked again. He's not sieged up either. The siege is going to be a bit late here. Here comes the drops on top of these mines. A lot of the zealots eat the mines. Big connection with that mine on top of these tanks, and Motive is just busting his way through. Scan is starting to fall apart here as he lifts his CC and floats backwards. There's still so much here for Motive. He might be able to just punch his way through. Oh my goodness, Scan not able to win with this massive early game advantage. Still getting pulled apart by Motive as the CC falls. Only 3 tanks in this natural. Motive will turn around, but he's just seized a giant advantage in this game. This just became so much harder for Scan. A few Dragoons here and there killed off. Starts to even the odds ever so slightly. He's still only 20 supply behind Motive for the time being, but getting shut down while trying to take that 3rd base all the time, and money he invested into trying to hold that position, the tanks that were lost, the buildings that were shut down. Looks like Motive finally going to get over here to the center left, possibly, to scout that base. And Scan's going to push out once again. He's finally spending a lot of this money that he had banked up with all of the factories coming online, albeit a little bit late. There we go. He sees the high ground and the base up there. Might be a little bit surprised, might not be. It's no question that Scan has more than he should if he was only on 2 base trying to take a 3rd. Like, if that was his mineral only, like the mineral only was his 3rd, certainly got a lot of stuff for whatever reason. And so Motive might just be having an aha moment here as he scouts that 3rd base. Will move to the middle of the map in position to possibly aggress on that. Scan is getting his supply up quite high at 175. Nearly catching up to Motive now and looking to take another base over on the left-hand side. Motive is going to have a hard time if Scan gets up to 5 bases. That's really all that Terran needs, holding this area of the map and getting this base online will propel him into the latest stages of the game. Let me go ahead and throw up some music here. as more shuttles fly into the main base. Oh, storms could be massive here. Big storms on a lot of these SCPs, but oh my gosh, huge hit on that. Big line of SCVs retreating from the base. Scarab's doing massive damage. A Wraith here is going to help out a little bit to deal with this Reaver. And finally, he will clear the main. And in the end, still retains 64 workers. Not bad. At the same time, moving up towards the top side. Gonna wreck this base at 12 o'clock while Motive was doing all that drop play into the main. Only one Zealot gets out. He unsieges everything to avoid the splash damage from the tanks, but Motive doesn't aggress, and so Scan will just kill this base. This base is completely done. Motive going on the counterattack path. Now, what does Scan have back at home? He's maxed out. Ready to take this next fight. This is a lot of Protoss coming up onto this high ground, but the tanks are well spread. Only able to get one tank per storm. Lifting off and pulling back the mineral only for now. This is no problem as Scan has that top left base already up and mining, and he's pushing over towards the mineral only as this happens. Scan getting up here on high ground in range of all the gateways now as well. Being that it's the old version of Dominator. You can hit into the main base without getting extra vision or using scans. A lot of Zealots coming up here. Not a lot of Vultures to protect this. These tanks are very stacked. And so as the Zealots come forward, the trade is going to get better and better here for Motive. A lot of tanks were just cleaned up. But Scan killed a base. He actually killed, almost killed multiple bases. Almost got this mineral only as well. Maybe have killed some of those probes. We're down to 54 probes here for Motive. And he's struggling to keep up in supply. 163 to 142. Scan. Is he going to be able to take this one? I think the answer is yes. Further and further ahead. Despite looking a little bit shaky there in the mid-game, the advantage of taking that super early third base has finally fully kicked in. And now, I mean, just continuing to expand, continuing to take good fights. I think that, oh my gosh, those mines doing so much work. I think Motive clears this. These Templar are never going to combine. That Archon will never finish. And this army is going to be reinforced. A big wave of Vultures coming forward. That is so many Vultures. He can start to fight the cannons, no problem. He's going to be wiping those out. And this shuttle is really all Motive has left. Dropping below 100 supply now. As Scan continues to push forward. This is a good lesson for Motive to definitely check for that third base. A bit of a wild play to start this one off, but it puts Scan in a great position. Even though it seemed like Motive was playing well, absolutely overwhelmed by macro. The macro Scan. Now going to be clearing out all these probes. That's the real last mining base for Motive. I guess there's bottom right, but it hardly matters. GG is called, and Scan takes game number 1. Motive versus Scan. The man spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner. Motive. If he looks at that replay, I don't think he's going to be too salty. Eddie Slide. With the 50 gems. Thank you, my brother. Where are you at, Motive? I think that if he looks at that replay, he'll be not too upset. Not too demotivated. He knows that he just needed to scout that third. If he scouts the third, he finds the base, he kills Scan for sure. Easily gonna wipe him out. Remember when there was only 3 tanks at the natural? And Motive had about 8 Dragoons, something like that. He decided to back up. If he backed up to the 3rd base rather than out of the base, he would have easily gone up there on high ground, killed that 1 tank, and denied the base. Wouldn't be much that Scan could do about it. There are plenty of other opportunities besides that. And so he's going to be opening here with confidence, taking the gas of Scan. Going to force a gasless fast expand out of the Terran player. And what is his follow-up going to be? That's what Scan's looking for, sending that SCV across the map. All right, you're stealing my gas, but then what's the plan? Are you going to be proxying a Robo, pushing in with a Reaver? Is it just going to be Dragoons with range to punish the bunker? Or are there going to be a bunch of expansions coming up here? Fast Nexi. It seems like that's going to be the plan. Motive, no gas. Setting up here for a fast Nexus. Just 1 Zealot coming out to pressure. SCV really wants to get in there and see what's going on, but he takes a slap from the Zealot. Backs off to the bottom left. Motive throws down his Nexus off of 1 gate, no gas. Looks like he'll be taking his gas, though, here shortly. Moving into pressure at the same time. Bunker over there at the front for Scan. Maybe pulling that Marine back and getting ready to take this expansion. The Marines in this bunker. Gonna come out and put a little damage onto the Zealot. Oh, that SCV is so low. Would really like to get that home. But it seems like as long as Motive stays vigilant and chases that SCV, he should be able to kill it. Actually, 2nd SCV might come around and repair this. That is a possibility. Yeah, it looks like he might do that. No. He's just going to bait the probe around and then hopefully allow that SCV to make it into the main base. Actually, a probe out in the front there. Motive really doesn't want to allow that that scout to happen. So he's going to try and block this. Probe coming to the ramp. Gonna block it. He does. Not gonna allow any information here for Scan. And he killed the SCV, the other one, out on the map. He's got the kill there on the Zealot. And so Scan a little bit in the dark going into this gasless fast expand. But based on the timing there, he must know that it was a Nexus before gas. There's a Robo coming up. No range Robo. And so once he sees that there's no Dragoons pounding on his front door, here in the next couple of moments, he's gonna realize he needs an eBay. An eBay will be necessary. Double factory, of course. After the gasless fast expand. Pretty standard stuff out of Scan. But when will he add this eBay? He's waiting. Kind of unsure of what's coming up. A 3rd factory. Wanting to put on some pressure to Motive. Gonna make a lot of vultures to go along with a couple of first tanks. See if he can go out and do something on the map. We've got the Robo done now. Robotic support bay is likely going to follow here in a moment. 2nd gateway on the way. Is Scan going to get punished for this, or will Motive get blindsided by the 3 factory? If there was DTs coming out, it would be very hard for a Scan to hold on against that. And his push would just be completely denied. But with the Reaver being made, maybe Scan can make this work. It's just his main base is going to be very exposed if he moves out with the initial army. If he stays back at home and builds turrets, then he'll definitely have the supply to stop the Reaver from coming in and dealing damage. But if he moves out, could get caught in a weird situation where his army's pushing in, and at the same time, a Reaver is in his main base killing all the SCVs. Vulture gonna slip out now. Actually, doesn't even take one shot from that Dragoon. Yeah, Scan's got to be a little suspicious now. No Dragoons, really? He didn't deal any damage at all to my bunker. Crazy that Motive's gonna take this third right now. Here at 6:45. It's not the earliest timing in the world, but he really doesn't have any information. He doesn't have an observer. Here comes this push. Scan. Coming across the map. 3 tanks and Vulture rallies is what I'm expecting. That's not going to handle the Reaver coming to the main base too well, but... yeah, here comes that shuttle now. Does it have Reaver already? Reaver 2 Zealot. Oof. Oh boy, this is going to be a lot of damage, boys. I sense some SCV losses coming in here pretty soon. Mines are going to get thrown down in desperation. Turrets dropping here as well. Can he actually get this turret up in time? It's so close. There's the turret. Turret does come up. Natural's being attacked. Dragoons actually get behind the tanks. He's going to kill a tank here. No. One Dragoon goes down. Tank still alive. Pushing back these Dragoons in a big way, and the Reaver turns around. The Reaver's going to leave. He lets the Nexus finish. He's going to try and bring back the Reaver to try and break this. Oh, I don't know about this. I think that Motive might have made a mistake here. He could have gotten more damage with the Reaver, I feel, over there in the main and just sacrifice the Nexus, get some more gateways out, but he's going to try and land on this. Reaver shot looking pretty good, though. Reaver taking another shot here, kills all of the Marines. And now he's going to be able to clean this up with ease. Scan loses his army. And the third base still alive. That was some very good control there by Motive, getting in just as that turret was finishing up. Scan really tried to target down that shuttle, but one single Scarab shot clearing out all the Marines. Now Scan has lost a ton of tanks. Is he really going to try and push out again right now? I think is he trying to take this third? Or is he really going for a push right now? More factories on the way. He's going to go to 6 factory. It's a 2 base all in. Let's see if Scan can make it happen. Meanwhile, Motive throws down a Stargate, I assume, for carrier transition coming up. Carrier very strong on Minstrel. So hard to defend all the different lanes as a Terran player. There it is, carrier transition on the way. Drop heading in towards this main base. Tanks will have to drop back. Try to defend here. Oh, mine! Ooh, good pick up there. Tanks getting in range. Gonna be able to push this back for the time being. Oh, that second shot might actually connect. Not quite connecting there. Tank will go down, though. A lot of damage so far in the main, but this shuttle is really low. Gotta be careful with that. Oh, you will lose it. And the Reaver goes down, trading it out for a tank. Not the worst trade in the world, but Scan just finished all 6 factories. And so the timing of this trade actually couldn't be worse. Meanwhile, probes are being ravaged here by just 3 vultures. Scan not making a huge commitment, throwing only 3 vultures away and getting a huge amount of probe kills. Still, 6 probe advantage here for Motive, but it won't matter much considering Scan is just going for a 2 base all-in attack. 50 SCVs is all he really needs. And what Motive really needs is more production. He needs Zealot speed to finish up. And I don't think he's going to have it. At least not for a while transitioning into carriers. That upgrade is going to be late. Scan. Need to put this army together and go for an attack here soon. He's got a few Goliaths, but I don't think he spotted the carrier transition just yet. I can't be sure of it. But I'm pretty sure he's in the dark. Can't be completely sure, but with Scan pushing forward now, it might not matter. Those carriers are still not out yet, and it'll only be 2 carriers initially, which is not the strongest. Catching these Dragoons on the retreat as well. This is a really good play by Scan. He's going to push directly over towards this natural, and he should be able to get into a position that'll be very difficult for Motive to break. Motive has gone all the way around, and so he might be able to do some sort of counterattack into the natural that could really throw Scan off. But now it's been spotted. Dragoons making their way forward. Mines are going to be set up. Tanks should be able to pop out here shortly and stay up on high ground. There's no third base, so there's no real place for Motive to attack. Scan gonna siege up everything here way too late. He was focusing on the army back at home, so he didn't have everything set up in time. However, the Reavers go down and the whole army just dies here. Bunch of mines in the natural. Scan still trying to get prepared here in his natural. He finally gets the tanks up on the high ground. That's going to free up his attention to focus on this push over towards the natural. He's hitting at such a perfect timing here and adding on a lot of turrets. It makes me believe that he actually does know about the carriers and this transition on its way. Adding on these turrets here is a perfect decision in a situation like this. You want to just choke up this area with masses of anti-air. Get these Goliaths out as well, but Motive actually has quite a good position in the middle of the map. He's holding it down with a whole bunch of Goliaths there, and so the with the Dragoons, so the Goliaths can't actually make their way across the map. This is not a lot of interceptors. He's trying to kill a couple of the last Goliaths at this outpost, but even as he starts to kill these last 2 Goliaths, more turrets are being made, more anti-air is being put together. The natural goes down. Motive, he could end up losing this third base before he can clear all of this out. I think he will. Scan's going to move a bunch of his tanks down towards the south side. Zealots here are going to delay that action for a moment, but eventually enough ground army will be put together to clear this. And Motive going to have to go around the turret position now, I think, with some Reavers, the shuttle, possibly these carriers as well to just stop this. He cannot be fighting a bunch of turrets here while his third base goes down. Scan moments away from taking this victory in game number 2. It's really close here. There's the carriers. If he just targets the Nexus, I think it's a surefire victory. So far, actually gunning down a lot of the pylons, but now it's time to target the Nexus. It will get taken down, and as that Nexus falls, the hopes here of Motive and his ability to win this game have just been tarnished. They've been dashed against the rocks. Scan at the same time expanding over to the right-hand side of the map, playing a beautiful game here. Really showing out in this series so far. Even without a massive early game advantage, has managed to navigate this into a victory. There it is, Scan 2-0 over Motive at the beginning of this series. Scan fans around the world rejoice as he takes down a Motive here on this difficult map. Minstrel ends in a win. Shopkeeper supported with 500 gems, you legend. Oh my goodness. Massive support from a new face in the chat. We've got Eddie Slide with the 50 and Shopkeeper now with the 500. Thank you so much, guys. Let me tell you a little bit about why it's so great to support the live stream through gems. Not only are you supporting myself, the English caster and commentator for this series, but part of every donation that you guys send goes over to SOOP themselves, right? They are the platform. They are the payment processor as well. You're not sending money to PayPal or to Twitch or anything like that. All of your money goes to either myself or the people responsible for putting this amazing series together. So that's why you guys should absolutely support, and I thank you so much for that 500 gems, my friend. Jumping in to game number 3. Scan. Down here in the bottom left. Big waves of confidence going into the ASL. Taking down Motive, one of his bitter rivals. Motive down here in the bottom right-hand corner. Coming up at the same time as the man. And so a great opponent for him in the SOOP Duel series. Both these guys deserve accolades. Both these guys should really be in the ASL, but Motive last season, man, did he ever botch things. You guys remember that game versus Rush? I don't think he'll be forgetting it anytime soon, where Motive scouted the mineral patch and then built 2 gateways in the wrong base. Was the absolute laughingstock of ASL for that season, but I mean, he made it in. He got in. He did so well up until that point. He really should be proud of his performance, but I'm sure nobody's going to remember anything other than that moment and how horrible it was. Motive really... he really screwed the pooch on that one. I hope we'll see him in the future ASL. He just hasn't been able to make it in this season. Certainly one of the guys on the short list of names we can expect to be making it in the ASL, especially short list of Protoss players who play at the highest level. This year, though, YSC and Tyson have just been lighting it up. Especially in the KCM, those guys have been showing their faces a lot, which proves that they have the respect of other Protoss players and accepted into the lineup. And Motive, I mean, we haven't seen him there for a while. Maybe he's fallen off slightly. Maybe that one terrible mishap in ASL had more of an effect than we thought. It's possible. Breaking his confidence down a little bit. Hopefully he can bring this series back, though, with some good confidence Protoss play. I'm surprised to see Scan take the CC at the top. I guess it's farther away from the opponent by air, but the Zealot can go up there. If the Zealot goes up there, that's pretty annoying. Whereas Zealot, it's going to be hard for him to get over here to the right-hand side. Yeah, I will go up this ramp. Oh, moving around the SCV once again. 3 Marines are now out, but a second Zealot making its way forward. This is going to get annoying here in a second. With the second Zealot making its way in, he loses a Marine. Uh-oh. And now he can start to lose some SCVs. Oh, the bunker finishes. Nice job popping that SCV into the bunker, keeping that alive, and good micro there to keep these Zealots off his back. Zealot gonna head up there and prevent the CC from finishing, most likely. Yeah, that's gonna go down. And so Scan, I mean, putting that CC on the high ground is really gonna hurt him now. Another Marine goes down. Uh-oh. Things are getting kind of bad here for Scan. As a Dragoon makes its way across the map. Can he actually surround and kill these Zealots? He's so close to killing them all. They're very close to death. There we go. Finally gets rid of it. Needs to kill this Zealot now. The Zealot's going to buy some time so the Dragoon can run past the bunker. Okay, he does kill it. Get in the bunker. Oh, it's so close. Dragoon is going to make it there just as the bunker gets filled with 4 Marines and shoved back. Scan will hold for the time being. He starts his factory as well. And a Nexus goes down on the side of Motive, but overall, not a terrible situation here for Scan. I think Motive has a little bit of the advantage. Oh, getting some damage on this Dragoon. If he surrounded that Dragoon, he might have actually been able to kill it. Just coming out to shave the shields off, though, for the time being. And a second factory should be going down here shortly. There it is, second factory on the way. Scan pumping out a lot of SCVs and catching up in that worker count. Ooh, DT play coming up from Motive. Motive's seen the way that he's played the last couple of games. He's been very greedy. Scan has been super greedy with how quickly he's been taking these expansions and neglecting his overall scouting and detection. But he does have that armory on the way. Should have a couple of scans ready. Potentially block this. However, this is a DT drop, and scans just will not cut it when it comes to DT drop. You can drop the DT. As soon as the scan comes out, pick back up again and keep that DT alive. You're actually going to need the eBay and some turrets to reliably stop this. And it looks like Scan's thinking about putting down what up here? A supply depot, actually. Okay, supply depot's fine. I thought he was sending that SCV over there to take a third. It was such an early third, but you know, we saw it before, and on this base, it's kind of practical. You can maybe make it happen. It's just so risky with the DT drop coming in. He doesn't know about that, of course, but it is very risky. Here comes that DT drop across the map now. 2 DTs in the shuttle. No turrets have been made. Scan is just making the first few units out of his factories, but he's, of course, got nothing that shoots up. There's that shuttle making its way into the main base. Some Marines and actually a medic in there, too, funnily enough. Maybe he can keep the scans going. Scan, you need to scan. Oh, but there's the turret. And there's the turret. He kills the DT. That's huge. That is huge that he kills the DT there. He needs to start some turrets up here on the high ground as well. Oh, actually, the shuttle's going to leave. Scan, kill the DT. Oh, it's so close. I can't believe he left with the shuttle. I guess he wanted to pick up some more DTs. 2 more DTs coming across the map. Where are the turrets? He's got to finish some turrets now. Turrets need to finish up. Brings back the vultures. Actually, a vulture was out on the map. That could have done a lot of damage if he sent it over here to the main. But he's more worried about just keeping himself alive for the time being. Here comes that shuttle one more time. Gonna drop in the mineral line, potentially drag a mine in. Oh! Wanted to avoid the mine hit on the DT as well. Being a little greedy there. Motive does not let the mine hit detonate on his DT, and so it actually cancels. The medic there healing up some of these SCVs, as well as the Marines, keeping them alive, keeping that anti-air alive so that he can defend against the shuttle. This has actually gone fairly well for Scan. I gotta commend him for the way he's handled this DT drop. Despite not having the turrets super early on, the scans were good. It's just really surprising that Motive let the first DT die rather than dancing over it with the shuttle and just picking up whenever the scan came out. Now he's got some storms ready. Some storms available. Forces another scan. And another DT comes up to force yet another scan. That scan does get forced, but another DT is going to come up. He's just baiting out scans until he can eventually stop this push. It feels like Scan won't be able to make this work. He actually needs to get some turrets down here. Maybe try to take a third base. That might be the way to go. There's a drop with a whole bunch of Templar inside. Maybe if he can leapfrog turrets forward, he can make this attack work. He's actually gone to a big factory count. Seems like he won't be taking his third base anytime soon. He wants to end this game before Motive gets fully online. He spent a lot of money in DTs and Templar and upgrades. He doesn't have the biggest ground army, so as long as he can keep detection, he should have a stronger force coming forward. Very close in supply to his opponent. There's another scan. Another DT goes down. He's got the 2 SCVs here. He's got to set up these turrets now. Zealots coming forward. They do not have speed, and so they're going to be a lot worse. There's the first storm. Second storm goes down. Hits only the 1 tank. Now the mine's going to connect on a lot of these Zealots. Looks like he'll easily clear out the Zealots that have already been damaged and force back this army. Still has a lot of tanks left over at the end of this fight. There was some good dodging there on the storms, keeping the tanks split up, most of them unsieged, so that he couldn't get perfect storms on really big chunks, clumps of tanks. And so Motive will not be able to stop this with just a couple of storms. The turret push continues. And Scan is just rallying everything forward as Motive tries to take a 3rd base up on high ground. He's got to get ahead in bases, but Scan takes his own CC on his high ground, and so is going to stay on par with Motive's expansion pathways, expansion timing. It's kind of crazy what Scan's been able to do so far. It's really a testament to his growth in TVP. The way he's handled everything so far, and he's just hitting these pushes at critical junctures in the opponent's build. Showing a real understanding here for Scan that I haven't seen before. Is pushing in right at the proper moment as Motive is trying to get online. He's got quite a few racks here, and he's got quite a few gateways. And he's shoving this back, but look at this. Finally, the tech is online. Finally, the Arbiters are out, but it's so late. Good snipe there on the SCV. Very low SCV there. Lack of turret is going to hurt Scan. He has to continue to scan over and over again just to prevent Zealots from being walked into his tank line. Turret really needs to come up here, but Motive not going to let it happen. He's not going to allow turrets to come up in his front. He's going to continue to engage here, and the Scans have got to be running low. There's a turret up at the front now. With that finishing up, I think Motive is going to really struggle to break this push. Got to kill some of these mines underneath the tank Scan. Don't want to have a mine drag into the main bulk of the army. Here comes a big storm on that front line. Those fresh tanks that just got brought here to reinforce, all stacking up on top of each other. And a bit of a mistake there from Scan, but the engagement overall goes into the Terran's favor. He's now ahead on supply. He's just got to slowly push forward, not get over eager. He's been doing a great job so far, with few exceptions. He just has to take it slow here as he pushes towards the final end to this game. There are no more storms here, unless there's a storm inside of that shuttle, and the Arbiter goes down. 5 Goliaths make their way to the front suddenly. And with Heron boosters, take that out in a couple of seconds. Motive didn't even have time to retreat. With that Arbiter, he loses it, and now he's not going to be able to ever get the value out of that Arbiter he was hoping to get. He's not going to get a stasis that could help him break this push, and he loses the shuttle. This is GG. The position is way too good. Scan even sending up more SCVs to replace the lost ones, continue to build turrets and repair these Goliaths as well. Absolutely fantastic play from him. So difficult in a moment like this to remember to send SCVs forward while macroing back at home, getting everything online, you know, doing all this positioning, setting up mines, setting up future bases, to get the SCVs out here as well to start repairing all this stuff. This is some excellent Terran play. Absolutely professionally done here by Scan, and of course Motive forced to tap out of game number 3. Almost a clean sweep so far. Scan is showing so much good play. I hope he can pull out games like this on the big stage in ASL. He'll need to if he wants to take out the absolute Chad Protoss lineup is going to be facing in that round of 24 ASL coming up. Mini and Shuttle are waiting for him. But this might be the run, guys. This might be Scan's best opportunity to make it to the round of 16 so far. Motive versus Scan. What could be our final game of the night. It's going to have to be a long anti-spoiler, if that's the case. Maybe we'll play some games or something. So stick around if the series ends early. We've got Motive. Down bottom right. Scan top left. Cross map situation. Best chance for Motive to start this comeback. If this was horizontal or vertical spawns, Scan would have a really good opportunity to base push him. It'd be very difficult for Motive to stop that. Most likely he would end up going down. But with cross map, you have to push up and down quite a few high ground areas in order to hit this Protoss natural. It's a long rush distance. And so Scan will be unlikely to do just a straight up 2-base push. If he does, hopefully Motive can handle it. Hopefully he can draw backwards properly with his Dragoons and Reavers and delay that push and eventually overwhelm it. I'd like to see more games out of these two. But I personally am super happy that we're seeing some great play out of Scan. It makes me just that much more excited for the ASL round coming up. By the way, guys, if you haven't heard, we're going to be casting live on this channel, the SCTV English channel on SOOP. We're going to be casting the ASL live, me and Shun. Shun and I getting together to cast that. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. That'll be up on Starcraft TV YouTube later. You can watch the VOD if you miss out, if you're not able to join in live. But I'd love to see a few people in there. I'd love to get above 100 viewers. That's kind of my goal right now for the SOOP Duel series, but I'm sure there's a lot more fans who are excited for the ASL, and so hopefully we can get 100 of you guys together to come and support the cast. And like I said before, if you guys are going to donate, this is probably the best place to do it. Sending gems our way. Part of that donation goes to SOOP itself. There's no other platform fee or anything like that. It's not through Patreon or PayPal or YouTube or anything like that. SOOP gets a percentage, I get a percentage. And so you're not only supporting me, but you're also supporting the company and the players themselves, people who put on, the organizers who put on the tournament. So once again, great way to support. Probably the best way to support. And so getting into this game, we've already got a Dragoon making its way forward. Gonna move up to check, make sure that there is indeed a CC. Now that he's seen that, he's confirmed it. Knows that he's not getting 2 racks or anything crazy. Just gonna continue along with his build, getting into that Robo. Vultures managed to slip out already, though. Motive, he backed up a little bit too far, I guess, with that first Dragoon. He should have stayed nearer to the opening of the natural so that he could get a couple of hits on that Vulture at the very least as it moves out. But now the Vulture full HP has managed to slip by. Scan has that just hidden out on the map. Should be getting into his mines here shortly, setting up mines around for Motive to have to deal with later on. Get that scouting information as well. Oh, is this a speed play? Did he go for speed instead of mines? Oh boy, if Motive doesn't have a full wall with the Dragoon there, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Okay. Motive he's done the right things. He's handled this properly. That was the skill check right there. Are you a good enough Protoss player to have enough stuff in your wall to stay alive? The answer is yes. Motive will live for now. Stargate on the way. +1 attack coming here for air weapons means that carriers immediate transition from Motive. A little bit desperate here in game number 4. Needs a win. He's in cross map. Scan opened with that kind of vulture speed play. It's a little bit unorthodox. Hasn't worked out. And so Motive, maybe he's got an opportunity here to switch into carriers. He knows there's no immediate push coming out of Scan. Since he's been making only vultures, he can't have a whole bunch of tanks ready right now to push him. So perhaps he can get away with getting this third base up and starting to pump out carriers. See, like 1 tank. That's all he's got. Scan, not ready to push. Absolutely, there's an opportunity here for Motive to make this work. Be taking his third Nexus here in a moment. Going up to 4 factories now. Scan. What is the plan for the man? Possibly taking his third base. Maybe he's just going to go for a +1 attack. Timing push here on 2 bases. 4 factories with +1 on the way. There's potential for that. If he goes for that, it would be a great timing to hit. Let's see what Scan spots here with his first scan. He sees the natural. And the fact that there's... oh, he gets the probe. That's nice. Scan in the main. Oh, he barely doesn't see it. Are you kidding me? Oh, that's so unfortunate. The scan. Oh, it's so close. Oh, no. He doesn't know about the carrier transition. He's going to start a starport. We're opting for some sort of +2 build. He's going to take a third and try to get into 2-1 timing, I think. That's going to come out a little bit too late. Carriers are so quick this game. His +1 air weapon is going to be faster than the +1 ground weapon of Scan, which is ridiculous. Oh, certainly Motive has a very good chance of starting to bring this series back with this next game, or with this game going how it has. Okay, 2 more factories. He's actually going to hit. Oh, he's got it on the way. Okay. Care on boosters. There's the scan. Care on boosters is on the way. He added more factories before that scan even went out. And so he must have been suspecting a play like this out of Motive. It's not going to be a 2-1 with 3 bases here. He's going to hit a 6 factory timing. I'm not sure what the starport's going to do. He might just leave the starport and not do anything with it. Now that he's scouted what's going on. Time to devote everything to this push. Like how he's setting up here in a good position right out in front of his natural, just holding this high ground and waiting for more reinforcements to come online. Setting up mines everywhere. Picking off observers too. That's going to make it way harder for these Dragoons to circumnavigate the army and get in behind to cut off Goliaths. If you get rid of a bunch of the observers, then the mines are just going to prevent the counterattack at all. We'll secure the supply lines much better. What is this, 7 factories now? Scan really ramping up his production. 2 carriers are out already, with a 3rd and a 4th just about to pop. +2 is on the way now. There's that +2 upgrade for Scan as well. +2 is really strong. Once the Goliaths have that +2, they shoot down the interceptors so much faster. And so this 2-0 timing is actually going to be quite good for Scan. He's trying to push back these Dragoons a little bit, getting some great hits. Oh my goodness, he's going to kill a couple of Dragoons here on the backside. If he scans and kills the Observer, that would be so clutch. Doesn't have that scanner loaded up and ready, though. He spots this base, trying to come up here in the top corner. That probe's going to stay alive just long enough. We'll be able to drop the Nexus over there, top right. This bush is starting to look scary, though. 130 supply already. Scan, not quite spending all of his money perfectly at the moment. He's going to throw down a CC, it seems. With 7 factories, you should be able to keep your money pretty low on 2 bases. Especially going into your upgrades as well. He's got the science facility. And he's getting into +2. Maybe waiting for that upgrade to come online before hitting this timing. Motive's ground army looking a little big. I don't think that Scan's seen exactly where this is at yet. Just now he spots that. Carriers are here on the top side. Scan's going to try and push those back. I think the army can just retreat, though, and the carriers are going to go for a counter. Carriers heading over towards the natural. Scan is not in position to deal with this. More turrets are being made, but that's a lot of carriers now. 5 carriers have been levied here for Motive. Scan is going to track down the ground army, but he's not really dealing damage to his opponent, and he might lose this armory. Oh, the armory. He's going to dive on the armory, try to kill it. Scan has the opportunity to try and kill a carrier here, but he doesn't. Doesn't kill the carrier, and he doesn't save the armory. This is really big bad. Bad news for Scan as he loses that upgrade. His Goliaths are not going to be firing and shooting down these interceptors nearly as well. He sends everything across the map to begin a counter. But will he be able to bust through the natural of Motive and still retain enough Goliaths? He's actually chasing down the Dragoons right now, trying to catch them so that they can't stop more Goliaths from making their way across the map. He's doing a pretty good job of pushing them into the corner, but this is buying so much time for Motive. He's going to be at like 8 carriers soon. The carrier number is going to get way too high. And without +2, how is he really going to fight? The ground army is very small here for Motive, but I think it's just barely big enough to assist the carriers in breaking the Goliath number so that the carriers can take out all of these tanks. He's pushing in towards the natural. He's going to go right into range of that natural base. Try to kill immediately this Nexus. Driving forward here, going after that Nexus. Can he finish it off before the carriers deal with all of these tanks? I think he's going to be able to kill every tank here. And yeah, Motive is getting further and further ahead with this. Of course, Scan did get his 3rd base online. He is cranking out a lot of units behind this. And 1 carrier does go down, but he's trading out a lot to make that happen. And the tanks are going to have to retreat now as all the Goliaths start to dry up. Tanks that were left behind to stop these Dragoons from pushing forward were actually cleaned up as well. Motive starting to get the base over online at the top right-hand corner. This is starting to look a little bit desperate now for Scan. This is getting shoved back. The carrier number is way too high. There's still no +2, I think, finished. And so Motive is going to trade better and better. He's already got +2 on these carries. He's had it, in fact, for quite some time. base going down at the bottom left, but their Dragoons just north of that position should be able to deny it easily. Vultures running by. Vultures looking for some damage. Gonna run here into the natural. Look to surround these Dragoons. They're doing a pretty good job getting rid of a lot of these Dragoons. There's still no Zealot speed. A lot of probes will fall down to just 45 probes. Really limiting the economy. At a high level, Motive has hardly any economy to speak of. As he finally transfers some probes up to top right, he'll actually get more economy rolling. But 64 SCVs for Scan is kind of crazy. He's even taking top center. Well, that will probably just get killed here in a moment. As well as bottom left. Bottom left is going to be taken here in a moment. Dragoons are down there harassing it, and so he'll have to send part of this army to deal with that, and part of his army to come back to handle these carriers. And the ground army is looking kind of strong as well. The CC may end up going down, and Scan's economy may suddenly go to a really bad position. Wait a second, though. A ton of Wraiths make their way up to the front. When was this Wraith transition happening? All during the time when Motive was starting to secure an advantage. Now some observers coming forward. He's going to scan and go after them. Scan takes out the observers once again. Now he can start to go to work on these carriers, but there's another observer, and all the Wraiths will die. Too many observers were made for Motive, and he is able to bring them together, denying the kills that Scan really needed to win this. Only 3 Wraiths here at the rally point, and Scan now with his Gambit not having paid off. He's going to have a very hard time fighting the Protoss player from the ground alone. Diving now on top of these carriers. He gets another one. The Dragoons are dealing so much damage, though. Hitting all of these Goliaths as they're fighting the carriers and interceptors. There's just not enough tanks here to push back the Dragoons, push back the ground army, and Motive takes this game away, finally putting a point on the board for the Protoss. It was not easy, but the carrier answer gives him his first win of this series. Was looking a little rough, but Motive managed to drag Scan around the map long enough, keep him busy until he could get that carrier number up high. It was a nice play from Scan to sneak out those Wraiths, though. We didn't get a shot of his maim, so it caught us completely blindsided, as well as Motive. But he managed to crisis manage quickly enough, get the observers to where they needed to be to block that, keep his carriers alive, keep that number high enough. The critical mass of carriers proved to be too much. Now we've got a series, guys. We've got a point on the board, and the comeback potential is there. Map number 5, Monty Hall. Motive's on the board. And this is a wacky map, so we could definitely see a comeback. Motive just has to find something that can take out Scan in this game. He's already going to start by hopping a probe over, so you know he's got something filthy in his mind. So what kind of preparation Motive has done for this series and for this map? This is a map where CC first is not too uncommon. A lot of players will opt to get incredibly greedy on this map. It's tough to get in, to get across and deal damage. Motive going to hop the probe over with the pylon on the other side. He'll drop most likely 2 gateways in this main base. and start the harassment early. The real nice thing about Monty Hall is that you can do something like this, and then if it doesn't work, if you just deal some damage, you don't have to worry about a counterattack immediately because there's so many minerals blocking everywhere. It's not like, oh, I lost my gateways. Now I have to build a bunch of stuff back at home to defend the counter. No, you could just go into Robo, you know, make a Reaver, and you'll have plenty of time to get those forces out. Oh my god, Scan's gonna start his command center first. Ah, I knew it. Oh, I knew it. Ah. Command center first. Oh my gosh, Scan. Say it ain't so. There it is, the cancel. Double racks. Double racks right now. Double racks. That's a lot of SCVs pulled off the line. We got to kill one of these before the Zealot pops out, but it's just not going to happen. Zealots are way too far along already. He's going to go ahead and surround that gateway. It's a lot of DPS. There's the first Zealot popping out. Good pullback there. Keeping that one SCV alive. There's the second Zealot. And this gateway will die. Just one gateway here. It makes it a lot more doable, but still not good enough. Yeah, CC first with the double gate in your main. That's sad. It happens. GG. Quick win there for Motive. And he's ever closer to tying up this series. Edging up to even with Scan after that second win. Still got a long way to go. But we could see this go all the way to Game 7, guys. That's what I was talking about with Monty Hall. You just never know. Get a build order loss like that. And then suddenly Motive is right back in it. Here we are on Pantheon. Wait a second. No, this is not the good spawn locations for Scan. That's too bad. That's too bad. Scan's gonna have to play this one out. I don't know if he'll still 2-base push, but if Motive had been bottom right, it's so much easier to 2-base. Shove it through that narrow choke into the natural. Here, the choke is much more wide open, and it'll be difficult to make that work. Scan may end up having to play a longer macro game, despite being close spawns. We'll see how the openers shake out this time. Scan has money for a barracks. Is he actually going to CC first again? Wow. After losing immediately on Monty Hall because of his choice to CC first, he's going to do it again. Right after a true poker player. Scan correctly assuming that Motive just would not see this coming. Unfortunately for him, Motive is going to scout him here. It would have been amazing had Motive gone for that build he did game number 1, where he just scouts with the Zealot. And now he's going to find this. He's going to see, oh, you're taking CC first. He can move to punish, or he can move to immediately take his own Nexus. Barracks down here in the front. Looks like the wall has been pretty well figured out here by Scan. He can throw down a supply depot on the right-hand side of this and have a really nice wall in. That's going to be very tough for Probes to punish. And so, or sorry, Zealots to punish. Probe is punishing this wall so far, getting a lot of damage on this SCV. Second supply depot has not been thrown down yet. He's having a hard time finishing up this barracks. Barracks is just going to finish as the Zealot makes its way through. Oh my god, still not done. Oh boy, this is a scary moment here. The Zealot pressure is really gonna hurt. It's like he managed to pull the SCV back once again. Oh my gosh, very lucky with the SCV there, drifting at that perfect moment. And he finishes the CC as well. He loses one SCV, but that's acceptable losses at this point. He needs to get this bunker up ASAP. Great surround on the Zealot. He's gonna lose a couple of SCVs. Oh, just the one for now. He gets the bunker nearly complete. This bunker is gonna finish. Oh, and the Marine lives too. That's big. That Marine almost got killed immediately after coming out. Can he actually keep running here? Oh, the SCV blocking. Oh, the SCV blocks. That is unfortunate. Marine gonna hop in the bunker. Try to run by here. Marine pops out. Can he actually get some extra DPS on this? He's blocking the Zealot from running by. The Zealot not able to get through. It's getting a lot of kills, though. 5 kills is pretty insane. However, the bunker does finish. And overall, the SCV count is looking acceptable. 16 SCVs to 16 probes. I think this has really evened itself out. The only thing that's really in the advantage for Motive is he has his tech way faster. Tech advantage here for Motive. He's going to be able to punish this bunker. Scan's tech is going to be delayed because of the lost SCVs. The lost mining time. Only thing he really has going for him is such an early CC is going to allow him to take an early lead in SCVs. Oh, that lead has been diminished in large part by the aggression from Motive. Factory just getting started here, but range upgrade going to be done in a moment. That'll force even more lost mining time with these SCVs. And the follow-up. Motive could take a third right now if he wants. Easily could take a third. Go into 3-gate Observer. But there's also the potential to make a shuttle, try to get in with some Reavers, and so Scan has to prepare for that. In fact, it will be that robotic support bay. Scan gonna have to move quickly to get some tanks out here. Get siege mode online, because a push into the natural is also very scary. Yes, you might have a full ring of turrets, but if the Reaver lands in the front and starts hitting that bunker while Dragoons are bearing down as well, you can easily pop open, break open as a Terran player very quickly. Die to a play like that. So Scan has to prepare for everything here, and Motive is going to take another base, it looks like, down in the bottom left-hand corner, while pressuring with the Dragoons and getting in with the Reaver at the same time. Here comes that first Reaver. 1 gate going into third base. Looks like he's just checking around the map. I'm not sure. This probe is just looking for potential hidden bases, I suppose. That is a very good, diligent move from Motive to just go ahead and check all these bases, make sure that there's nothing hidden. As he gets his Nexus online, center left. He is still behind in workers, but expect that to change here soon, unless Scan defends absolutely perfectly. Should have it siege mode now. Siege mode is done. Tank at a good spot here, I think. He can't... I don't think that the Reaver can hit the bunker without the tank firing back. Only 1 turret here in the main. There's the armory on the way. 2 tanks out. Oh, can he actually stop this? He doesn't have the siege tanks. He does not have the tanks sieged. So he eats a big shot. Gonna pull back these tanks now. Dropping in range. He should be able to get this shot and kill on that tank. This is a rough situation for Scan. He could take a huge amount of damage. The Dragoon has been dealt with. Oh, trying to make that Reaver Scare bug out, but it doesn't end up working very well. Tanks coming back into the main. Another shot from this Reaver. It's going to deal some damage here. No, it bugs. The bugged Reaver shot there, saving Scan a little bit. allowing him to pressure this Reaver out of his main base. A really nice hold from Scan. Even with only one turret in the main, managing to hold back Motive with that aggression. Has a massive SCV lead. With his +1 on the way, I imagine we're going to see another timing attack, unless he wants to really go wide in this game. Considering the position, might be the better call. We'll see what Scan has in mind, though. Getting his third base online at the 8-minute 30 mark. Not the fastest third Nexus in the world. He had to cut some stuff to get his Dragoons and this Reaver out as well. Could have gone for a really fast third Nexus, but might have left himself open to a counterattack from Scan. Now he's going to be relying on these two Reavers positioned outside of the natural to slow down Scan as he really pumps up that gateway count and masses out more ground army to deal with this potential push. 6 factory play once again from Scan. He's going to put on big pressure to Motive and try to push with the 4 Goliaths, threatening to shove back this shuttle, to gun down that shuttle. With just 2 volleys, he can take that out. And so Motive just sitting back here, just barely out of range, waiting for the push forward. Scan lining everything up, getting his factories properly hotkeyed and macroed out to the front, rallied right where they need to be. He's added on the extra turrets, but he's safe back at home while this push is going on. He's sniping down observers here and there. Looks like that observer manages to survive for the time being, pushing up. And the siege just out of range of these Reavers, but again, the Reavers popping out and threatening the tank push. If he pushes too far too quickly, he's immediately going to feel the wrath of the Scarabs. Does get a couple of hits on those Reavers now, and making some progress here without losing anything is the most important thing. Scan setting up along the wall now, placing himself in an interesting position. We're gonna get a Scan, and a couple of observers may end up going down. Yeah, 2 observers immediately gunned down. Those are some big kills for Scan. Reaver Scarabs trying to go off here. Can they actually connect? Looks like not going to be able to. Dud on those Reaver Scarabs, and now the tanks are pushing towards the middle of the map. It's a dangerous situation. The Reaver's getting a little close there. Reaver is trying to pop out there with the shuttle, but the Goliaths are an ever-present threat. Sniping down that shuttle might spell the end of Motive in this game if he loses that shuttle without getting big damage from the Reavers. There we go, finally getting a free hit on these tanks. Scan has been so good about slowly pushing forward. Now that's a pretty stacked tank army. That makes me a little bit worried. With Motive having a second shuttle, he really needs to spread out his units a little bit better. Scan sieging up all at once. Not the way you want to play it. We really got to spread this stuff out a little bit better. That's a lot of Zealots, and they're really starting to get their speed online now, get their legs underneath them. There's a lot of mines under this army as well. Dropping right in the middle of this. That mine connection was huge, dealing a huge amount of damage. The Reavers are doing an excellent job as well, gunning down these big chunks of tanks. Scan sieges up a few remaining tanks. With the turrets, he's going to be able to hold that position for the time being, but this is almost broken. Motive just needs to calmly re-macro up to a big enough army to crush this, and he should be able to do so here in a moment. Vultures are going to run around. A third base is on the way, but firmly in the grasp of Motive now. This game is his to win, his to lose. Scan holding this position for now. It's slowly building up again. The tank count has been reduced so much. But over time, he will get more out to this front, catching a few probes on the transfer. but not fully paying attention to those vultures as these reavers get in here and start to deny this third. Scan's chances of winning this game are getting less and less. Speed shuttle now making its way towards this main base. He could drop right over this wall and bail out. Almost loses the shuttle, but gets these two reavers in and still has that dropship to keep these alive. Shuttle backing up now into the corner. Picking off some of these supply depots while the push comes into the front. There's the scan here to get rid of this DT. Dealing with too much right now. Scan is having a hard time getting rid of this. There we go. He picks off the DT, and he will continue to push forward. Looks like the reavers in the main have been cleared. He's getting another CC in his main, but this position right out in front of the natural is looking flimsy. That is not a lot of tanks, and a lot of them are not sieged as well. Here comes the Dragoons from the backside. A lot of Zealots mixed in as well. This is so many Zealots coming in on this right-hand side, getting right up on top of this. Here's a big storm as well. Reavers come forward. Great target on the Reavers to pick them off. And in fact, all the Reavers will die. A lot of Dragoons died on that right-hand side too, and a follow-up mine there, getting a little extra value at the end of that fight. Not the worst fight in the world for Scam, but he needed a great fight to bring himself back in this game. He needed a godlike trade, and he wasn't able to get it. Now accelerating ahead in minerals, 1,800 banked up as Scan has to kind of face the music. He initiated a big two-base push and fumbled the ball a little bit. Now he's in a spot where his push has been broken 2 times, and now he's sitting back at home. Only just getting into his third base. Over at the 15-minute mark, guys. 15 minutes in. Everything is looking quite late. And so Scan, sitting back here, operating on 3 bases, it's likely he won't be able to push until he gets a 4th base and fully maxes out. And it's not even a sure thing that he'll be able to make that happen. There's a lot of Zealots here. A good 50 supply advantage for Motive. Dropping Zealots on top of this army. He's just going to unsiege everything and back up, realizing how badly that trade is going to go, but it's still going to go badly with the Reaver getting in there and landing a bunch of Scarab shots, and the Zealots overwhelming the position. Suddenly, Motive has evened out the score. My goodness. What a comeback here for Motive. Bringing us to game number 7. It's anybody's series now. Got Motive, and I gotta give him a big ol' 3 next to his name. Certainly earned it. Brought us to game number 7 in this series. Scan is moments away from that $500 slipping through his fingers. He had it in his hand. It was 3-0 moments ago. Now he's sitting here, probably sweating from the palms, realizing he might just lose this series to Motive, whom he crushed in the first 3 games. The CC first play has really hurt him in this series, I gotta say. 2 times in a row, CC first, and he lost both games. Maybe time to go back to basics. Really, he almost fell apart in the early game on Pantheon. That CC first almost died really to the Zealots. It's pretty rough there, but he managed to pull it together. He managed to get it together and save himself. Keep the Zealots off his back, and make that into a late game. Make that into a pretty close to base push, but that engagement, not removing the mines underneath his army, really punished him brutally there. To show some more patience in a push like that, maybe he would have been able to take a better trade. Retain enough of his tank army to continue the push, but he just didn't have enough. He did not have enough tanks after that to keep that thing going. We're gonna get Scan taking his factory here, the 230 mark. 229 factory, a very nicely timed factory here coming out of him. Meanwhile, back at home, Motive ready to start his range, and Scan is ready to spot it. He's looking for that range. Are you really going to be taking that? Or is there something else on the way? Scan hasn't checked the Cybercore for a moment, but I saw the money get spent. Range upgrade is coming here. Scan spots that. They can leave the main base now. Relatively secure in the knowledge of what's going on in this game. What's going to be coming here out of Motive. Get into his natural. That bunker down, get that CC going, and we're going to have a calm opener. After the last two games, it is a relief. Scan will be able to get into a normal game where he can allow his macro to shine. Motive starts his own Nexus back at home. 3 Marines and a Vulture, enough to push this away. Dragoon here looking to trade, but not wanting to lose any hit points on that. Could have a bunker here in a moment. With the second Dragoon chasing the SCV back at home. It's not available to force the bunker out early. So now Scan gonna get this Vulture around out on the map. Starts his mines upgrade. Okay, you'll like to see it. Getting the mines upgrade. Keeping it standard here. Scan, he tried the speed play. That really didn't work out for him in that carrier game. That was where his fortune started to shift. Was when he tried that cheeky Vulture speed first play to get some damage on Motive, and he blocked it perfectly. So getting into mines here makes a lot of sense. Play a nice straight up game, and Motive didn't seem to be able to hang with him in those first 3 games. Getting in, checking for the 3rd base. That would be an incredibly early 3rd base. Gonna have the Dragoon chase him for the time being, and mines will finish up here in a moment. Pushing out now. 3 Marines, 1 tank. A lot of these Marines are actually kind of damaged at the moment, so not sure how well this is gonna go. He just wants to get the mines out in the front, I guess. Push the Dragoons back slightly and get the mines down so that it's not easy for Motive to take a 3rd. See Motive moving forward to try and expand here right now. We're pre-6 minutes into this game, and Motive has that probe ready at the 3rd. Be a little bit surprised to see this army moving in. Oh my gosh, he starts the Nexus after seeing the army there too? That is kind of a shocker. He could actually burn this down. There are mines here. Yeah, he does. He does burn that. And did he actually cancel? I think he might have. I looked away. I blinked. I'm not sure if he got the cancel off or not. He's got quite a bit of money here, so I imagine that he did. Vulture's going to make their way over to the side and catch the probe again. Oh my gosh. Scan is killing it. And he finishes speed at the same time. Almost manages to slip by there. A good heads-up play from Motive. Immediately building that gateway there to block in the natural. But he's lost quite a bit. He's lost probes. He's lost the Nexus. Even with the cancel, still costs money. It's not free to cancel that Nexus. He is going to start up his Nexus for a second time now over at the third. Scan very close in supply, however. And is he going to gear up for another push? I see 2 SCVs ready to throw down factories. But what are they waiting for? There it is. Double factory. Gets thrown down here by Scan. Going up to 4 facts. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to push. That's a good indicator. Motive having an observer in the main base, you're going to be able to keep an eye on those factories and the overall count. Is going to tell him everything he needs to know about the intentions of Scan going forward in this game. +1 is on the way here. Scan rotating around with vultures. Not really finding anything just yet, but keeping an eye on Motive. Checking in on what he's up to. He's got a turret ring set up now. Scan here in the main. Good number of gateways. And, of course, we've got a Reaver out. Ready to pick that up. Motive gonna go ahead and park at the front of Scan's base, no doubt. Wait for the push, which may be coming here soon. A 5th factory starts and a 6th as well. That's a 2-base push, if I've ever seen one. A 2-base push on the way here for Scan. +1 timing. It's been difficult for Motive to hang on against, and so I definitely understand the motivation to punish Motive with another build. Another 2-base build. Motive thinking about taking a 4th Nexus. That might actually be a mistake, though. With this 2-base push coming, Scan is going to have a lot of army, and Motive needs to match that. Tanks up here on high ground, just barely out of range. It's so close. Maybe if he scanned there, he would actually be able to see that. These tanks are very close to being able to fire on that Reaver. Picks off the Observer. Loses some HP on the Goliath, but yeah, it's hard visually to tell if that's in range or not, especially at an angle like that. The angular range seems to be a bit higher visually than at a horizontal or a vertical. Slowly starting to push out now. Scan getting this push underway. Just about 20 supply behind his opponent. Now only about 10 as the next round of units pops out. Scan is getting ready to push in earnest, but we've got Reaver, we've got Templar. He's really going to have to be careful with how he moves forward. So much splash damage in this army Motive has prepared. And if he wipes out this tank force, with the 4th base online already coming up, Motive is going to have his future secured, and Scan will just fall further and further behind. Here comes that Reaver, not able to get a shot off. We've got a drop that's about to go in right as Scan continues his push. He's going to push and drop vultures in this main and natural. Oh, Zealots are chasing this. Forcing the army back. The shuttle is out of position. If Scan unsieges everything and just pushes forward, Motive will not have his splash damage ready to deal with this. Get about another drop here. He's just going to pull back for the time being. Where is that shuttle? Shuttles have been brought forward here, but Scan's made some progress. Moving almost to the midpoint between these two bases. lot of mines being set up here in front of the army. Scan. We'll have to move over a lot of those mines in order to get into position. Here comes a drop over towards the natural. There's just the one turret there. Scan. Is he going to react to this? Pulling back everything, keeping the SCVs alive. He does react, but he pulls the SCVs together. A lot of SCVs just died there. Still 50 workers remain. How many more kills can he get, though? Big hit here in the mineral line. Another 3 or so SCVs die. But the Reaver has been taken care of. The third base is coming online now. Army moving around the siege position of Scan. Third base is up for Scan, and fourth is alive for Motive 2. I was expecting a full-on push from Scan, but it's funny to see him slowly push out and then take a third behind it while holding a position in the middle of the map. It's kind of unorthodox. We have some storm drops coming forward here. Mines are going to be laid down, but in the... Oh, my God! Oh! That mine was insane. Why, Scan? Why did you pull all the SCVs to the bottom patch? Oh my goodness. Eating the maximum amount of damage that those mines could bear. Scan loses a big chunk of his SCVs, but not a majority by any stretch. Still with 57 workers remaining. He has the economy to push forward and take more of the middle of the map. Interesting that he's just taking the middle right now. And stretching out towards the bottom right. Is this a long-term play for Scan where he's just going to sit here and go split map? Big storms coming in, ravaging the economy here. Motive dealing so much damage. Scan was not ready for that. Somehow still having 53 workers, though. I don't know how the math adds up on that. With all those SCVs going down, he's still got 55. Crazy. Building a lot of workers. Rebuilding workers over and over again. Nearing 60. That's really all you need as a terror player. 60 SCVs is going to be fine. And he's stretching out. He's cut this map completely in half. And Motive is playing shuttle style. He's not going into arbiters and carriers. He's just building up shuttles and throwing in storm drops. If he's not killing the entirety of the economy of Scan, and Scan manages to take half the map, I don't see how this goes very well for Motive. He's going to have a hard time breaking through as Scan gets larger and larger, closer and closer to that max out point, and his future upgrades online. He sacrificed a lot of the early upgrades to get this position. He's catching some probes here in the middle now. This is a lot of damage. Huge wave of probes just went down there. This is so many vultures, by the way, moving around. This is like 3 groups of vultures, I think. Might be a little less than, maybe like 2.5, something like that. I believe it's more than 2 full groups. Upgrades still pounding away here for Motive. I guess rolling, spinning away at those forges. And this attack going to come in. This is way too many tanks. Oh my goodness. Motive throws away his first shuttle. Second shuttle is going to go down as well. Too much damage from that turret. Does go down. So many Dragoons die, and I think Scan can unsiege and move forward for the kill. Is he going to overextend here, though? There's a lot of zealots at the natural. Motive didn't throw his entire army against this, and will Scan siege up in time? He's got to hit the siege properly here and not eat massive splash damage from these upcoming storms. He sieges up. He's going to be able to take out that Templar. I think this is good enough. Scan moving closer and closer. He's opened up a potential pathway to a counterattack for Motive at the bottom side. Motive could get down into this bottom right now and do some counterattacking damage, but he's a little bit too worried about this army. No, he will go for the counterattack. This is what I expected. Motive can move around the army, make his way down to that CC in the bottom right. Bring down some big storms here, but losing a lot of his army. As Motive tries to push forward, Scan takes a pretty good trade there. And will continue to grow for the time being. Army moving through at the bottom side. Still has a observer with this force. And so could deny a bunch of expansions here for Scan. Scan going to wrap around a huge amount of vultures. Potentially just wipe this force out. However, that means the vultures aren't in position with the army over at the natural of Motive. Maybe Motive can break through with a lot of zealots. While this is going on, big surround here. Great connections on these mines. And here it is. Motive finds his opportunity with his vultures out of position. He clears the majority of the tanks. This is really good, solid, conceptual play from Motive. Strategy-wise, he's really killing it here. He clears all of that out and drops Scan to 100 supply. Dangerously low to Motive's 180. Scan is still going to be able to add more bases in the bottom right. And his army, as it's coming out, is going to be strong, but it's so small at the moment. 180 to 120. And a lot of that is in the factories. It's not out here on the field just yet. And so Motive's going to begin to harass bottom right while pulling his army together, pooling it together, and ready to break another position. Here comes those big storms, killing off a lot of SCVs. Again, dropping him down. Scan, hopefully he's got some defenses at bottom right. Do we have anything here? Another storm's going to come down. Big storm there, killing another 4 or 5 SCVs. 5 total. Coming down to 49. Oh my goodness, another massive storm. Barely got the energy in time for that one, dropping him to 44. Motive at 75 workers. He's going to be able to max out so quick the next time he takes a fight. Whereas Scan is really struggling for that income now. He's got a lot of bases, but hardly any SCVs to work them. Great positioning overall. We haven't got to look at the upgrades for a bit here, but I imagine we're at +2 at least by this point. I might have just missed a click there from our Spanish caster, but Scan holds for the time being. He's got half the map still. Motive not able to break him, even with this 200-200. Remember, a lot of that is probes. 75 of that 200 is probes right now. We've also got shuttles here flying in and observers, so the overall army supply is not super big, but it's enough to break through this first line of tanks at the very least. The big spread of tanks to the south of this position doesn't matter much. If Motive just wants to counterattack straight into the natural, he can do so now. Ooh, a drop down here, actually killing a lot of probes. 2 tanks dealing a huge amount of damage, but you know what? Scan's center has been broken, which is the much bigger story in this game. No EMP goes down for any of these Templar, and so they get great storms, and Scan is forced back with those vessels. At least he'll keep them alive and can utilize D-Matrix to maybe hold on as Motive begins to push further forward. It's looking desperate, though. Scan, 100 supply. He's 80 supply behind Motive, and Motive's army is way more mobile. The moment it pops out, it's going to be able to run straight up to the front line. The tanks are going to take more time than that. 3 tanks here coming forward for Scan. Is that all he's producing at a time? Only at 3 add-ons, maybe 4? He's got so much money here, 2,000 gas in the bank, and the army is breaking through. Scan is falling apart down to just 70 supply. I saw there for a moment now. Hopping back up, but it's just not enough. 100 supply disadvantage as more SCVs go down here. Over at the center right, Scan taps out and Motive takes the victory away. Oh, Scan the man. It's taken out at the 11th hour in the 7th game. Not able to win. In a straight up macro TVP, he did so well. In the first 3 games, it looked like he was about to walk over his opponent. But in the end, was a little bit too much. Motive able to take him down. Oh my goodness. What a series, guys. Bit of a sad one there for Scan. Acardiox, thank you for the 5 gifted subs, you legend. You've gifted a whole ton of subs in the chat. And guys, I did put together some subscriber emotes for you. You can go check those out if you got a sub from Acardiox. Let your emotes shine. Yeah, for sure. Go and watch the VOD. Scan was doing so well. Oh my goodness. Absolutely unreal. We got Scan right here. He is a sad boy. After letting that $500 slip through his fingers. It is going to be salty going into this series, man. If he can't take down Motive, what chance does Scan have? Taking out Shuttle and Mini this round of 24. He needs to play like those first 3 games if he wants to stand any chance. I still believe, guys. I still have faith in Scan. I hope that he can give us some great games. I think that Scan is in the very first group Igloo Pilot, March 24th at 7 p.m. Korean Standard Time. We will be casting it live here on this channel. Both Shun and I together. And then it'll be up later on the Starcast TV channel. Here's our upcoming schedule, guys. We just watched Motive versus Scan. You can see in the middle. Tomorrow, Best versus JYJ. That should be a fun match. We saw the way JYJ was able to absolutely maul Movie in an earlier series. We also saw how strong Best was looking in his games versus Royal. And so Best versus JYJ should be a lot of fun. That's going to be coming up tomorrow. Same exact time. No need for an anti-spoiler this time, guys. So I'm going to cut it off here short. If you guys want to talk to me a little bit more, ask me some questions in the chat. I'll be reading that now. What do we think for Scan against Mini? Will he get his revenge from the previous season? Ooh, that's a tough. That is a tough matchup. I don't know if Scan's going to be able to get his revenge. My head tells me no, but my heart says yes. Good thing it's a best of 1. It increases Scan's chances, absolutely. Best of 7. I don't think he would stand a chance against Mini. I'm glad we had Scan versus Motive here because it was far more evenly matched. Snow versus Light. Light versus Soulkey. I don't think we can ask for more, guys. Those are going to be some amazing matchups. Saying, what's the deal with your SCS stream? It is on this channel, but it's not allowed to be uploaded to YouTube. So you can check it out. It's in the replays, the VODs of this stream on SOOP. It was a good, yeah, it was a good stream. A lot of ZVZ. But there were some fun games. Some good games. I enjoyed it. I'm sure you will too. Yeah, ZVZ is good. I enjoy it. I know a lot of people aren't really the biggest fans, but I really don't mind it at all. It's generally quick, and if it goes long, then it's pretty fun. So I'm not sad about casting ZVZ ever. It was just a random timing because I had the day off. I didn't have a SOOP Duel series. I wanted to get it out to you guys as soon as possible. Of course, before the ASL starts, but I just had time. You know, every day I'm doing the SOOP Duel series, so yesterday is just I didn't have anything going on. Or 2 days ago, excuse me. Yeah, I did that on the 17th. North American time. 18th Japanese time. And yesterday I just rested. I went out to a sauna. Went for a nice sauna with my wife. It was a really nice one near my house. Actually, not too far away. It's like 20-minute drive, something like that. Really beautiful outdoor one. And of course, I made the stinger. Like I said, it took a long time. Took quite a long time to make. I had to use Grok to help me figure it out. He was kind of off, though. Grok, not the biggest help in the world. I actually had to figure out most of the stuff myself. But yeah, it was worth it. I think it's quite a decent stinger for my first one ever. I need to put together a after the SOOP Duel series music mix. I just put together this pre SOOP Duel series mix for the countdown. I thought it went pretty well. I liked it. Well, GG. Catch you tomorrow. See you later, Eddie Slide. Thanks for stopping by. And we'll see you tomorrow. Should be a good matchup. Some more TVP. Always fun. And then even more TVP the next day. Snow versus Light. I'm also very excited for Jaedong versus Stork. I don't know about you guys, but I think Stork has been just crushing it lately. Stork, he looks so good. Always fun to watch Jaedong as well. But I think that'll be a good matchup. Like, neither of those two are, you know, S tier or even, maybe not even A tier, maybe like B tier. If you're going off of Artosis's tier list, I think he's more around a B tier. Both Jaedong and Stork, but as long as they're both in the same tier, it should be a fun match. What newish player are you most excited? I always love Speed. Speed is great. I can't wait to see how he develops. I've been casting so many of his games. Really excited to see how Speed plays this season. He's got a tough group, by the way. He's got Rush and Royal. If he can take out Russian Royal and win that group, what a massive statement that would be. Like, I'm the new Terran. You know, I'm the new A Terran, you know. I'm the gonna be replacing these guys, you know what I mean? The Russian Royal have been top. They've been peak Terran for quite a long time. Quite a few seasons have kind of been dominated by them as the Terran. You know, Sock's been around, Mine's been around, yes. Right, Light, of course, always a factor, but Russian Royal are right there along with Light, kind of dominating the scene for Terran. That'll be a huge moment if Speed manages to take them down. Absolutely massive, and so I can't wait to see that. What about you guys? What's your most exciting new-ish player for this season of the ASL? I think Alone is a pretty interesting story too. The SC2 player, True, who came up through the SCS. He's stuffed into a pretty Terran-heavy group there. And a very strong group indeed. Barracks, Mind, Best. That's... I don't see him getting out of that. That's why I'm not very excited about his run, honestly. Because his group is so strong, I don't think he can make it. If he was in a bit of a weaker group, maybe I'd have a little bit more excitement for him. His game's coming up, but yeah, it's looking like he might just get washed out. But of course, always a fan of Scan too. We'll see how he does. Showing some weakness here, some strength too in this series. So I don't know if he can overcome Mini. Definitely he could overcome Shuttle, though. That's a possibility. We'll have to see. He's going to have to face Mini first, though. No. Yeah, he has to face Mini first. Which is rough. He'll face Mini, and then he'll probably have to take on Calm in the loser's bracket. Potentially. If he wins there, then he'll probably end up taking on Shuttle. That's my prediction. If he can beat Shuttle, then he stands a really good chance of going deep this season. Just got to make it through that round of 16. Finally. Encouraging to see Snow beat Soulkey and beat Rush handily. Yeah. Yeah. I'm always a big fan of Snow. I hope he does really well this season. He's had a hard time in the ASL in general. He's been kind of the king of silver for a while. And never quite the belle of the ball, you know. He's always there, but he never quite made it to the top spot, and I think he really deserves it. We'll see if he's been able to put in enough practice this season, and whether or not he can get out of his own head and really get out of his own way and make it happen. Guys, thank you for watching. I'll end it here. So much support here. We're past the 4,000 gem mark. I'm super proud of us and our community. We're really making it happen here, guys, and I couldn't be happier. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to the Patreon supporters as well. Shout out to Starcast TV. Shout out to Shun, just because we're going to be casting with him again soon. Snow versus Hero final would break my heart because I want both to win. Yeah. Ooh, but it would be so hype, though. Oh my gosh, it would be so good. It would be absolute peak content. Can you imagine the stadium? The people cheering? Holy. I bet that finals would sell out in a second. That would sell out in a second, guys. It would be so hype. But we can only dream for now. That's just a an idea for the moment. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye, guys.